change. And keep one thing in mind. Whenever you're talking about having these beliefs or whatever you might have, you're like a communist or maybe a socialist or maybe a Democrat until you get rich and then you kind of change. You might be like a feminist until you get married and then kind of change. You might be an atheist until your plane starts falling and then it kind of changes. Always keep that in mind. Let's move forward. Clint, the Daily Dose is great, but you pick on my Raiders and Lakers way too much. That's funny to me. Also, the Lakers scored 5 points in a quarter in a summer league game versus the awful Knicks. How worried should we be? And try being nice for a change. That is from Beth. Try being nice for a change. Well, first off, I pick on the Raiders and Lakers too much. Well, probably. Yes, you're right. I probably do. A couple things about Summer League. And I've told you in the past, I've coached a little bit. I've coached Summer League. It's not NBA Summer League, but I understand Summer League. There are certain things about Summer League. Here's the thing about Summer League. No, you shouldn't get too wrapped up in the Summer League and the fact that the Lakers scored 5 points or whatever. It's Summer League. You can't win a championship in summer. I've coached against teams or been a part of teams or whatever that they win like the Summer League, trophy in quotes, and they go out and celebrate like they really, you don't win championships in the summer. But you can kind of lose a championship in the summer. Because if you go through the summer and you start to feel like you're totally decimated, like you go, man, we're going to be horrible this year. Like at times we do okay, but man, we're getting blown out. You can kind of start losing regular season games back in the summer, before it ever starts. Here's my problem, from the Lakers' perspective and in the situation that they have. Your summer league team doesn't look that different from what you're going to have regular season wise. Like you're playing Randall and you're playing, some of the young kids you have. But how different are you really going to look come regular? You're going to bring in Kobe on his walker and Swaggy P to miss threes. So that would be the part that would concern me. Again, summer is not a huge deal. The biggest thing you want to get from the summer league, the biggest thing that you want some guys to get some confidence. You want to get some people to start playing with each other and start getting a little bit of familiarity. You want to get a little bit of chemistry. But other than that, it's summer. You don't want to get decimated where you're going into the regular season and you're saying, hey, it's just the start of the season. It's like November, December, and we already know we're going to be horrible. That would be my concern for the Lakers right now. Yes, they'll get a couple players, coming in but you'll get Roy Hibbert. I guess I don't think he's playing in the summer league. So Roy Hibbert's coming. Fear not, Roy Hibbert's coming. Kobe will come. He'll be back for like a week or so. So there's that. I hope that answers your question. And I'm always nice. What are you talking about trying being nice for a change? I'm always nice. And Beth, I will especially be nice to you. Cause before you, I didn't even know Raider fans could write. Clint, love the show. Have you ever considered naming each episode instead of just having a number for your episode? Also, Ghost Saints and Pelicans. That is from Emily. We have a few female listeners. We have some listeners that are females. I've heard from a few of them, even a few that I don't have emails from. Have I ever considered naming each episode? Well, I guess here's my problem. I am trying to come up with actual sports takes and that kind of thing that I think if I dwelled on trying to name an episode, it would probably distract me. I'm easily distracted. Like I can be really focused and working and doing, and then something like shiny goes by and I'm like, hey, look at the kitty, that kind of thing. So, I can't get too distracted or I kind of lose track of what I'm doing. So if you have suggestions, if you say, hey, I would name your episodes for you, I don't know exactly how that would work, but I keep them numbers because I keep them simple and I'm just not smart enough to come up with names or themes or any of that thing. So I again, and go Saints. Did I just make fun of the Saints? Emily, I apologize in advance for did I just say something about the Saints are irrelevant? I don't know. Whatever. Let's go forward. Clint, keep the top fives coming. Love the dose. My daughter's volleyball coach says she needs to stop playing soccer so she can focus just on volleyball and get a scholarship. Any truth to what she says? That is from Jeff. Excellent question. I appreciate that question. That's a smart question. First off, see if you can get your daughter's volleyball coach fired because he or she is an absolute idiot. I'm kidding. Don't get a coach fired. That's not right. Well, I'm sort of kidding, cause they are an idiot. Here's the problem. That's absolutely incorrect. That is false information you are being told. And you're not the only person being told this. I saw this a lot in coaching where we tell these kids, like, hey, you're like 4.5 now. You might want to start specializing. Really? Is that what we're really going to tell the kids? Is that they need to start specializing? Here's the problem. Do you realize that last year, over 82% of the Division I scholarships went to multi-sport athletes? Think about that for just a second. Over 82% of Division I scholarships went to players that played multi-sports. So don't tell me they need to specialize. When you go play other sports, you develop timing. You develop other muscle groups, in other sports that can be really, really beneficial to your sport. Maybe that's your passion. Maybe that's your sport that you really want to focus on, but you develop other things playing in other sports. You know what else you develop? You develop a wide range of interests. We don't have to have a kid burn out as a sophomore in high school because I've been playing soccer since I was 4.5 and they won't let me play anything else. Let the kids enjoy the change of season. Now, if you have a kid that they burn for that specific sport and they don't want to do anything else, I get that. I appreciate that. But if you sit there and just tell me, yeah, I'm really thinking of locking my kid down and not letting them play other sports, you might want to think about that. Here, let me give you an example. You know, the USA soccer team, which won a Dosey a few weeks back on our show. Did you know that Abby Wambach played both basketball and soccer, and she credits basketball with her sense of timing with the headers that she had around the goal? Morgan Bryant, I know, played multiple sports. Amy Rodriguez, who is a kid that is one of the younger players that is coming up and looks like she has a really, really bright future. She swam. She played softball, she ran track, and she played soccer. So don't give me this, they've got to start specializing. The problem, honestly, in this situation is that so many parents start getting this mentality of my kid has to get a scholarship. They've got to get the scholarship because it's going to be a financial burden for us if they don't get the scholarship into college. And they start falling into this trap of thinking we have to get a scholarship. We don't have a choice. So you've got to start specializing, and they become desperate. Here is the thing that no one really talks about, no one really tells you. Most of those kids that specialize and they're playing in the clubs and they're playing year round and they're playing constantly and they're traveling and they're on their travel team and it's a competitive team and they're going all over the place. You've already paid for your scholarship. The scholarship is paid. At this point, you're so far in paying all these things, that kid better get a scholarship because now you're kind of stuck. What we always kind of told our kids, and our parents, we want the kid to have the good experience. If the kid comes out of soccer, volleyball, or whatever your child is playing, and they hate the sport, you've done a great disservice to the kid. Don't run those kids in one sport and to the point that they go, you know what? I kind of don't like it anymore. I would rather go to a birthday party. I would rather go hang out with my friends. I would rather go play another sport just to get away from it because it's been all I've been allowed to do forever and ever and ever since I was just a little kid. And it ends up being something where maybe they got the scholarship, but they can't stand what they do. What you've done basically is you've put your child into forced labor at the age of 9 or 10. I hope that answers your question, Jeff. That question was from Jeff. I didn't say that, but, really, really good question. Really smart question. But I hope that answers, the question for you. All right. Let's see what's next here. Daly Dose. Great show. Love your top fives. Who would your all-time NBA starting five be? That is from Adam. My all-time NBA starting five. You gotta think about that one. Starts with my point guard. I want, I'm going to take Magic with my point guard. Magic Johnson is my point guard. You know, a couple things about Magic, was not a great defender. Obviously, defensively, that was a different, kind of style that they played, but offensively, he's going to be so tough. He's such a tough matchup to have a guy his size that was able to see with his vision and with his size. Magic is just such a matchup problem for just about everyone. And I do think with Magic Johnson, especially when we see guys like LeBron, I think we sometimes, as sports fans, I've told you this in the past, we have really short memories as sports fans. The greatest thing is what just happened in front of us. Like we can watch a decent game and it has a great finish. Oh, that's the greatest game ever. Is it really? Probably not. But like Magic, we sometimes kind of forget how good he was at finding the open man. He gets a little bit of, sometimes we look at him and say, well, look at all the talent he played with. Yeah, but as a point guard, how are you able to keep all of that talent happy constantly? There is something to be said for that. And if I'm going to put him on my all-time NBA starting five, I better have a point guard that can keep everybody happy. Now, when you look at certain teams, like take someone like John Stockton. And John Stockton, I think, is one of the greatest point guards who has probably ever played. But let's be real honest. We know who he's going to feed, right? I mean, when John Stockton comes up the floor, we don't have to worry too much. He's probably going to go to Karl Malone. I mean, with Magic, you had Byron Scott, you had James Worthy, you had Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, you had all these different guys, Jamal Wilkes, and different players that he played with, that he had to kind of keep in the flow, keep happy, keep finding, his communication skills, the way that he ran the team, the way that he said, hey, I know this player needs a couple of feeds here now and again. I'm going to take Magic Johnson with my point guard. Greatest player ever. I'm going to take Michael Jordan, as my shooting guard. Could do everything. I know, again, sometimes our memories are a little bit short as sports fans. Sometimes we forget how good Mike really, really was. Because he could go out and to get, we saw LeBron go out in the finals and be like, oh man, LeBron had 40. Jordan got 40 every night. It wasn't a big deal. Not only did he get 40 every night, he could lock down your best player too. I mean, when Scotty came along, it kind of took that pressure off of Michael, but Mike could go out and shut down your best player too. So defensively, offensively, get whatever I want. My small forward, I'm taking Larry Legend. I gotta go Bird. I gotta go Larry Bird. Bird, another guy that, could always make the right pass, could find the right play. Not pretty. Bird's basketball, it was pretty from a certain standpoint, but it was kind of awkward looking. The shot wasn't even always pretty. It's kind of an awkward shot. We've talked about that before. But he made plays that you can't coach. When you see a ball come off the rim, your first instinct is to grab it, or sometimes you just see Larry tap it to a teammate for a layup. How do you teach that? I mean, that's just an instinct to the game that guys don't have. And, don't forget one very, very important thing that kind of gets lost with Larry Bird. Don't forget that very early on in his career, he went out and was like paving his parents' driveway or whatever and hurt his back. That would never happen today, by the way, but hurt his back because he didn't, he wanted to do it himself. He wasn't going to pay to have someone else do it. And these were the days of different contracts and that kind of thing. I don't know that we really got to see Larry Bird truly, physically ever at his finest. For as phenomenal of a career as he had, his back bothered him throughout his career after that. That's something that we kind of forget. I'm going to take Bird as my small forward. Again, not great defensively, but you want to talk about one of probably the most clutch shooter ever. I mean, a guy that would come out and tell the defense, I'm going to do this. I'm going to catch it here. I'm going to shoot it here. And then actually do it? Who does that? Bird would, go out and tell Xavier McDaniel, hey, I'm going to come off this screen. I'm going to catch it here. I'm going to shoot it here right in your eye. And there's nothing you can do about it. Did it and hit it. Going into, the locker room for the 3-point contest. What was that? In like 87, I think. And he walks in there and says, which one of you guys is finishing second? I mean, this is against the best of the best. This is against the 3-point shooters, the best shooters in the game. Which one of you guys is finishing second today? I'll take Larry Bird. I'll take Bird. And we won't be, with Bird and Magic, we won't be great defensively. But let's look at my power forward. And I know I might get some slack for picking this guy as my power forward. A number of different guys you might go with. And maybe one of these spots I should be given to LeBron James. My power forward, I'm going Tim Duncan. And I know you're going to say, no, he's a